Are you struggling potentially with the idea of how to make your first $1,000 a monthly income investing in cover call ETFs? Well, I'm here to encourage you that it's more than possible. You don't need to be a sophisticate. You don't need a science engineering background to figure this out. It's simple math. We are going to be looking at one big idea that's going to help you get to your first $1,000. Of monthly income investing with cover call ETFs. It's insanely simple. It's almost too simple, but that's actually how most of the stuff typically is. It's easier than you realize, and once you start doing it, you'll tend to agree. But you got to be doing it, and you got to be actively pursuing it to truly know what I mean with what you're about to hear in this video. So let's talk about one big idea to help you get there, to help you set the mindset, to help cultivate the interest, to help with the intrigue, help with the conviction that this is actually possible. I'm going to be showing a lot of my portfolio of how these natural distributions through contributing and through reinvesting, natural distribution increases, how it is helping to chip away at my paycheck that I hope to replace with these cover call ETFs. If you're new to the channel, my name is Jordan. I've been investing in cover call ETFs for the past 3 years. And, my goal on the channel is really just to share my journey, share the insights, the wisdoms, the experiences, and help to contribute with the financial understanding of how you can truly build wealth with cover call ETFs. Now, to me, sometimes it sounds like an oxymoron. How can you build wealth with income products that are typically geared towards retirees that are in a decumulation mode? And this is kind of how professionals in the finance industry would probably talk about these kinds of products. But I'm here to flip that narrative on the head to say that, look, it's not that I've done it, but I am working towards it. I have enough history behind me to show you that it is a legitimate strategy that you can implement, not just to make your first $1,000, but even beyond that. So let's focus on the crowd that is in that sort of $0 to $1,000 monthly range. How do you actually get there? And in my opinion, there is no conceivable way that you're going to grow your income over time, legitimately, for the long haul, unless you do this one thing. And it really has to do with tracking. You need the visual cues. You need to be able to see that you are winning and you're doing it on a regular basis. And the nice thing about cover call ETFs is more of an emphasis on your income versus, say, your portfolio size, the portfolio natural growth. That's not, if you're into income, it's because, you're just prioritizing that growth. And you can compound that way harder, way faster. It's going to be like cast iron, pile driving horsepower like you've never seen before, okay? So without sounding scammy and like I'm promising the world here, because that's not what this is about. Let's get into some of the tools that help show that you are building your income, and you can get these kinds of tools for free. We'll also look at the kind of incremental monthly compounding that you can do versus, say, the kind of compounding that you can maybe expect out of the S&P 500. I'm going to show you something very surprising. I'm going to show you a forecasting ledger that I wrote down in 2022. I randomly found it behind a couch when I was moving. Before I moved into my rental, I've wanted to find a place of how to share this on the channel, this would be the perfect video for that. As far as what do you think I'm under what I forecast? Do you think I'm over what I forecasted? That'll be fun to check out. And then we'll also look at a tool that you can use to forecast your own distribution growth. But let's look at 3 tools. We got Passive, we got Blossom, and we got Wealthica. Passive and Wealthica are free tools where you can track your income fairly easily. You don't need to pay anything for that. And just to show you guys like what kind of increases, even at my portfolio size of $347,000, it's not like I'm jumping $200 every month. No, it's like $65. Sometimes it's $100. Sometimes it's $35. Like the rate of growth sometimes is just different. But nonetheless, it's still growing. You can still see that upward trajectory. And you can also see that on Blossom as well. But anyway, the dividend tracking tools, right? You can track how much you've made over the years. This is, how much I've made so far this year. See how much, what funds have been contributing every single month to your totals. They got, a natural forecasting tool of everything that's in your portfolio right now. What will you make 1 year out? This is a little bit lower than what I have projected. Not much, but it is a little bit, a couple $1,000s lower, maybe $2,000 lower. It would be nice if they had a tool that showed a forecasting 12 months out and if you were to reinvest everything. This is based on this. If you were to just grab your money and just spend it essentially. You also have milestones on the side here of when you actually attain, your first $100 a month, $250 a month. Now you'll notice that for me it shows it all on the same date. That's just because they added this feature on that date. So I was already well past that. So I had a bunch of these milestones hit at the same time. So anyway, some really great tools to explore. You can also explore for free, but if you want sort of the deeper insights, you got to pay for that yearly cost. And it's like, I think just over $60. But my favorite free tool to see the income growth is with Wealthsimple. All you have to do is just head over to Power Ups and you just hit all time, or actually, sorry, Power Ups, you just hit income and let's project everything out. All time, and this is what you can see with that. So it's cool to see that it's clearly been picking up steam, especially here in 2025. You're getting now more consistent, like $80 to $100 increases, and now that's only going to be much more so. I expect at this point for my portfolio at this size to be well over $100 a month. But we'll see what August brings and September and get more of a pattern. I can speak to it more at that time. We looked at some free tools to help put some wind behind the sails. Visual cues, having something visceral like that keeps you motivated, keeps you on track, helps to not just compound your income size, but also just compound the realization of like, hey, maybe retiring early isn't so crazy after all. Maybe the portfolio size doesn't need to be as big as I once thought it needed to be. It just opens up a plethora of possibilities. The existence of a higher belief in your financial future certainly comes about with these kinds of products. And again, I speak out of just experiencing that for myself and just being able to share those thoughts. Now, before we move any further, I just wanted to mention that I'm going to be hosting my very first event at Cactus Club in South Surrey, a suburb of Vancouver. So if you want to come, there's just this post. You just click on it. This is the date, August 23rd from 5:30 to 7:30. As of the time they're recording, there's 7 spots left. I wanted 10 people. Just keep it small enough so that we can all interact. It's not like a Viking long table where you're just sort of in like little isolated spots where you won't necessarily be able to speak to everybody at the table, or maybe you don't get a chance to talk with me at all. I want everybody to have that chance if you have questions for me about the channel, about my portfolio, whatever it is, that I'm there to answer your questions. So 7 spots right now. So anyways, hopefully there's some spots by the time this video comes out and give you an opportunity to join me and celebrate nearing 5,000 subscribers. I originally thought when I thought that number would hit around the time that I'd be hosting this event, but over the last couple weeks, the subscriber count has been actually quite lofty, and I'm probably going to hit that number a lot sooner, maybe by the end of July. But anyway, Cactus Club, South Point in South Surrey. Let's go back to compounding monthly. This is what it looks like. Okay. Again, I had some pretty wild distributions in early 2023, even into mid 2023. I don't really believe that this is not going to keep you motivated. This, like, sure, great, I'm up, oh wow, 150%, but then if you're going to be up that much, I mean, I'd be well retired by now if my income was increasing that much. But then it's down almost 60%, up another 100%, down 42. How can anybody expect to have predictability? It's way too crazy. So in August of 2023, I decided to go for more stable distributions. And it's led to more predictable results, right? It might be a low increase every single month, but it's predictable. And I am more than happy at compounding 1.7% every month, 3.4%, 7.3% every single month. Because what that leads to is a 2023 to 2024 compounding increase of 58.8%. And this year, it's going to be over 80% by the time this year is all said and done. If you are investing just in a plain Jane S&P 500, you might maybe on average get to 9%, maybe. That's been the historical average. And it might even be more like 7, but let's just say 7 to 9%. Versus having the ability to contribute more off of your paycheck, more control to contribute, that immediately adds to this compounding effect. For me, quite visceral, quite real. It gives me the confidence that, hey, retire at 65? No, retire is more like 20 to 25 years sooner. I'm 35 now. By the time I'm 40, it's looking really likely at that point. And that is just with a portfolio that is investing in a lot of index type stuff. So it is S&P 500 style, NASDAQ, basically the whole economy, but just with this cover call overlay on top of that. And also using a little bit of natural leverage, not weird, speculative, derivative swap leverage that's kind of more difficult to understand. No, this is like leverage that is more that the normies of the world are sort of used to using, right? The kind of leverage maybe you use for margin, the kind of leverage that you'd use for a HELOC on your home. It's just that's how you can think about it. I'm not saying that's what it is. It's just for the sake of like what to compare it to. It's like it's much closer to that than it's closer to that other stuff. Let's look at forecasting tools. So I've gone ahead and punched in a couple of numbers. This is MarketBeat, another free tool you can use. It's just called the Dividend calculator. And you can plug in distribution frequency, monthly drip, right? Dividend reinvestment plan, yes. Starting portfolio size, I just picked a random number, $20,000. Maybe you invest $5,000 a year. Maybe right now that's all you can afford. Okay, let's try something like, let's try maybe 13% as far as your yield. Expected annual dividend amount increase, you might not have any clue. What I can tell you, it's like I've developed a tool, the cover call ETF ALLSTAR tracker. And for 2024, I can say that of all the funds from Canada, that keep in mind, last year was the AI bull market. So on average, everything was up about 14%. So natural distribution growth was up 14%. In a modest year, what's that look like? Maybe it's 7%, but just to be really conservative, I'll just say 4%. Expected share price appreciation, I'll just put 3 years in, invest that for 20 years. What do we get? Well, this is your starting yield, but as time goes on, hey, you hit your first $1,000 almost in year 6. Okay. Now, that's at this distribution contribution rate. But there's one factor I wanted to show you all that even though you could forecast it, and I actually think it's a good idea that whatever you forecast and you think that that's like a legitimate number that you can go with, it's like take a screenshot of it or post it somewhere, maybe put it in a binder. I don't know, but just do something that captures what you predict. And then don't look at it or put it in an envelope or something and then put like a date, like I will look at this in 6 months or a year, and then open it up and then redo the calculation. And I think what you're going to find, what you might be pleasantly surprised by, and I'm going to give you an example of this, is that you're actually farther ahead than you realize. Okay, so this is the example I wanted to give of, okay, so I found this whiteboard behind a couch when I moved my condo to my townhouse in April 2025. These were the original cover call funds that I had invested in, ZWC, XYLD. Now, I had predicted that by 2024, I'd be making what's that? That's like, call that $21,000. But in actuality, it was more like 23. $3,000. Okay, so I was already ahead, and that's what's that, like a 7% increase or of what I actually did versus what I was expecting. So now then we go to 2025, and what did I expect back then? Investing in these two funds, and the crazy thing is, funds have matured. They have gotten better in the sense that I can invest in more yield and have the confidence that my natural share price or unit price appreciation can still naturally grow, maybe at a slower rate, but it's still growth. Again, I'm focused on income. I still want my portfolio to grow, but it doesn't have to be as fast as say the regular S&P 500 or the regular NASDAQ. Okay, 2025, I was expecting, call that $24,000 and a bit. But in actuality, it's going to be, for 2025, it's going to be more like $44,000. So again, the point here is, as time goes on, you're going to find ways to contribute more. Maybe you come into money. Maybe the distributions naturally grow higher than what you expect. But I think whatever you project is probably like on the low end of things. That's what I think of what you can reasonably put away. So that should be encouraging to know that, hey, look, I'm possibly going to make more than I realize. But it's also not getting too, greedy with your forecast. It's keeping things fairly conservative, and you might surprise yourself. So let me know in the comments below what you think of my idea of trying to get to your first $1,000. Do you disagree with the fact that, hey, maybe you don't think tracking is the best way? Let me know so that other people can feed in and read what your opinions are as to what is probably the best way to get to the first $1,000 investing in cover call ETFs. I believe it's tracking, but hey, look, that's just one opinion amongst the many. I just think that this will set you up with the right mindset to keep you accountable, to keep you in a state of working towards that goal. And that's really what it's all about, is just keeping and making those incremental steps. It's a daily choice. It's a monthly choice to reinvest or buy frivolous things that don't help you grow your income over time. So if you like what you saw, hit all the buttons of likes and subscribe variety, and I'll see you all in the next video.